Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. So now we're on chapter 3. I was at Central. Maybe I was at Cass, but anyway, it was 11 of one national newspaper that the Lord Maitreya is here. And Benjamin Crane was the one promoting the newspaper because I've been doing this a long, long time. So I'm going to briefly read chapter called Lord Maitreya. The individual has not made his appearance public, but the new agers claim that he is on earth at this present time. They claim that he came to live within called the fifth Buddha. The Hindus call Krishna. Unexpected by all of these religions, and he is on earth now, patiently waiting for the appointed time to reveal his existence to the rest of the world. He will apparently assume the leadership of all these religions, and when he does, he will create a one world religion. This is the Antichrist. The New Agers have written that in the esoteric tradition, which is understood of an office or function within the spiritual hierarchy of masters. The masters are a group of prophets. Manly P. Hall, we talked about him, 33rd degree Mason. He was way up there. He was a grandmaster and all that. He wrote, "The way, the truth, and the life, which coming to every life redeems all who accept it." Texie Mars, she wrote, "My army is ready for battle. My masters of wisdom and myself at the head. The battle will be fought for the continuance of man on this earth. Rest assured that my army shall triumph." These people don't believe in God. Not one bit. It appears that the battle to be fought between the followers of Lord Maitreya and the rest of humanity is still in the future. But at least one of the participants still got to come and clean up his church and clean us up, including myself. Shameful. But Satan's army is already ready to go. Wow, that's deep. One who claims to have seen the birth in a vision of someone who seems to fulfill the requirements of this Maitreya was astrologer Jean Dixon. I think she did. I think she did now because this is a really old book. Yeah, I think she did. Her major claim to being a prophet is her prediction reportedly made before the event of in 1963. However, her credentials were dealt a serious blow in 1968 when she prophesied that the Soviet Union would be the first to put a man on the moon. Another one of her prophecies was that Republican Party would be victorious in 1968, and it was with the election of Richard Nixon, a Republican. But she also predicted that within the following decade, from 1970 to 1979, the two party system as we have known it will vanish from the American scene. So that's the plan. It will vanish. It's going to vanish. It won't be any more two party system. It's coming. Predicted that Richard M. Nixon had excellent vibrations for the good of America and would serve the country well. Well, you see, then Watergate came and he was impeached. He left office in disgrace. Those who question her inability to correctly predict that America, not the Soviet Union, would become the first to place a man on the moon, and that the two party system has not vanished yet. That's true. And that President Richard Nixon apparently did not have good vibes Watergate. And I said that before. Yep. This can only presume that she must have been given inside information about the assassination of President Kennedy, and that would account for her knowing, at least in that event, the true future. Secondly, one can only wonder why this nonprofit should be listened to in the first place after her appalling record on prophecies. But there's a reason to believe that she might have been asked to write an account of the vision of the important birth of the New Age religion because they wanted the official imprimatur of someone commonly referred to as a prophet. Wow, that's deep. So, in order to write out the plans and how the New Age religion would come about, they needed someone as a prophet. That's why you got test the spirit by the spirit, false prophets. Now it's some real prophets out here. Now it is. In other words, her prophecy might have been written to legitimize his claim to be a man God, so that when the individual made his public appearance himself, the public will marvel at the fact that his claims were true. Ruth Montgomery wrote a book called The Gift of Prophecy, in which she wrote about the vision which Jean considers the most significant and soul stirring of her life occurred February 5th, 1962. She saw the brightest sun she had ever seen. Stepping out of brightness were a pharaoh and Queen Nefertiti. Remember here, yeah, these were, of course, Egyptians. That's what he's saying. The couple, Queen Nefertiti and Pharaoh, thrust as if offering it to the entire world. Jean looked at the baby and then said, according to the author, so what Ruth Montgomery wrote can be summarized as follows. A sun deity gives the world a child from Egypt who possesses enormous wisdom, and this event allegedly took place on February 5th, 1962. The interpretation of these symbols will be discussed later. Jean says a child born somewhere in the Middle East shortly after 7 a.m. on February 6, 1962 will revolutionize the world. Before the close of the century, he will bring together all mankind in one all embracing faith. Wow, look at this. This been a plan all along. One world order, Revelations, read it. Mankind will begin to feel the great force of this man in the early 1980s. And during the subsequent 10 years, the world as we know it will be reshaped into one without wars and suffering. But we ain't seen that happen yet. His power will grow greatly until 1999, at which time the peoples of this earth will probably discover the full meaning of the vision. But this has not taken place yet. So, according to the vision, a child born on February 5th, 1962, will grow up to bring a one world religion into the face of the earth, and his efforts will be successful in 1999. Has not come to pass. The New York Times newspaper ran three consecutive articles on conjunction of the five planets. I told you, because I read it. The New York Times newspaper ran three consecutive articles on the conjunction of five planets the sun, the moon, and an invisible body that astrologers call K2. Alice Bailey used to talk about this K2, and she was a hot ski, but she was the one that established the prayer chamber at the United Nations in New York City, and she was a top occultist Satanist. The first article stated that the various body moved into rough alignment in the constellation of Capricorn, New York time, and that will remain in that alignment until 7:17 a.m. New York time Monday. However, the article went on to say that most of the people in India became alarmed because most astrologers were making predictions of disasters. There were a few astrologers who were predicting good for the world as a result of this alignment, but few Indians appeared to be paying them much heed. Astronomers did not consider the event to be rare. However, the article went on to report that the same configuration occurred several times in the past. The last time was April 1821, and then it occurred twice. The article reported that Dr. Kenneth Franklin of the Museum of Natural History in New York had commented that year does not seem to be the year of any renewal. He was then quoted as saying, and that year isn't famous for anything as far as I know. Dr. Frame also commented on the body of astrologers called K2. He speculated that it may be some sort of astrological addition used to make everything come out right. He then added that he believed K2 to be the invisible planet that is frequently taken into account in astrological reckonings, but that he had no idea. Oh no, the Times carried another article the next day and it repeated the same information. defeated the concern of the Hindu astrology is viewed gravely. The third article in the series ran on Tuesday, February 6, 1962, and carried the headline Doomsday India. Uneventful, a variety of disasters, earthquakes, tidal waves, devastating fires, and warfare to name a few, but that none of these events had occurred. Furthermore, the article reported that Hindu priests had claimed that the reason nothing had happened was because their prayers to the gods were answered. In any event, these people claim that Lord Maitreya will appear shortly in the entire world and start everyone off on a road to the world religion. Helena Blavatsky, who I was telling you that Alice Bailey was one of her disciples, in her book, The Secret Doctrine of Wisdom, and apparently she wrote hmm, Isis Unveiled and the Secret Doctrine under Demonic Possession. I got the book. I ain't never been able to open it to even read it. When I tried, I just couldn't do it. I could not do it, and I still got it. I don't know where it's at, but somewhere. So it appears that the one call that Jean Dixon made that appears to match other comments is her statement that the baby she saw in her dream was right. Because if the client had seen in her, then she was right. Because others has claimed that Lord Maitreya is full of wisdom. However, there is still reason to believe that she has given inside information by some new agers who wanted to have this Lord's birth so that when he did surface, the new agers could claim that his birth had been a fulfilled prophecy. So the world awaits the visible appearance of this Lord Maitreya. All right, that's the end of chapter 2. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I'm going to do one more video.